All right. Uh, well, welcome to my live stream here on my YouTube Fairway Sailor Moon for Life. And well, back in the day when we get started, I'm going to talk about. Well, first off, I'm going to say that, and I guess I did a live stream sometime last week, so it's probably not the first time or the last time I have ever done live streaming on YouTube. I mean, my first live streams would have been with Google Hangout, but that was only to get that was the only way getting my films up there until I could upload films again. So anyway, I just want to say thank you to everyone who is going to come on this YouTube live stream. I know I don't set a time when I'm going to do it, because I never know when I'm going to be in a mood to do a YouTube live stream. So I never know when the time to set it. And even if I would go through and set a time when I was going to do it, there isn't no way to know if that time would work out for everyone. And I get it. Everyone has their own lives. Everyone's busy. Everyone lives in unlike time stead. So 6-9 between, and Eastern might, I don't know, be 5-9 between, we'll say, in heel. And it might be 4-9 between and, middle, which might be more like, I don't know, 3 between, we'll say, in west. Now, so I know my YouTube live streams aren't always, the most gleeest films on YouTube. And that there's going to be folks on YouTube who are making a way lot greater live streamings than I do. But that doesn't stop me from doing my films. So, anyway, I just want to start out by talking about how, how I feel. And there's really no way to say the truth to back this up or not. That I sometimes feel as if I'm a black sheep at a Sailor Moon followership. Now, you might think to yourself, why would I feel that way? Well, you see, because in a Sailor Moon followership, there tends to be, well, I don't know if there's floors to it or ranks to it or anything like that, but there does seem to be, on the top, seems to be the gatherers. Why do we call them gatherers? Because that's all they do, is they gather every Sailor Moon thing ever made by Irwin, Bandai, West Glee, Great East Glee. They got every doll ever made. They got every shirt ever made. They got every film and disc ever made. They know everything about the show. But the one thing that and they tend to be the most watched or at least the most onlooked in the Sailor Moon followership. But at the end of the day, they may have gotten every Sailor Moon thing ever made. But I don't really think that they show any love to any of their stuff. Oh yeah, they got a room of all their Sailor Moon things that they got over the years. But I don't think they ever A, took it out of the box, B, ever played with it, and C, I don't think they ever were ever doing anything that I did or what Dwayne did. But then again, being a black sheep is not a bad thing when you think of it. Because there are not too many folks in a Sailor Moon followership who do this. Well, there was Sailor Moon Jacob at one time, and he had been on and off of YouTube since the end of 2020 YL. And now he's gone again. I mean, he would come and he would go. He'd make some films with the squeeze dolls, and then he would come and go. And then that would be it. And then you would have someone that goes by the name of Warrior Tina, or Tina Warrior. I don't know, whatever her handle is, Tina Fighter. And she would make films, but then she wouldn't have squeeze. She would make films with the squeeze dolls from all the other drawing shows and drawing films out there, not only Sailor Moon. So at the end of the day, yeah, it's not really too many folks that do what Dwayne does. So in the early days of being on YouTube, and this would go back when he first started, back in 2008 YL with Sailor Moon Red, and later on with Sailor Moon Red 1 and Sailor Moon, Best 1 and Best 2 and Sailor Moon YouTube. Then Sailor Moon YouTube misspelled a U, and Sailor Moon Red 1, 2, 3, 4, and Sailor Moon Tube 11, which just put that 11 in there, just let them work it, which got named Sailor Moon for Life, which I believe is is probably the most good name for a Sailor Moon YouTube Fairway. Now, let's talk about all the things that we had to overcome. First, we had to overcome bullying and trolling, which everyone has to overcome in life. Why? I don't know. But on the interweb, there seemed to be folks who thought, oh, well, what Dwayne was doing was either sinful or unlawful. They had no truth to back it up. A lot of these folks were, bullies and trolls that really didn't have, there was something going on in their life, whatever it was. They didn't have a good handle on it, didn't know how to handle or deal with it, and felt that if they could put someone else down or make somebody else feel sad, it would somehow make them feel good. And it started out from 2008 YL to 23rd between YL. That is how long the bullying and trolling went. First, it would just be leaving mean words on the film, mean words on the fairway. Then it would go to making mean films. Then it went to the guilting and the shaming and the slighting and the scathing, but it was mostly shaming, guilting, and sliding. And then it went to the hacking, which to this day we'll never truly know how it was done. And then after the hacking started the fake flagging, and that was fun. No, it wasn't. So you had to overcome a lot of stuff. And keep in mind, this didn't come from the Sailor Moon followership. This came from folks from all kinds of followerships on YouTube who took the interweb as some kind of bullying tool or some trolling tool. Oh, it's the interweb. Who cares? Not true life. With me saying do this. So, but that doesn't mean to say there weren't some folks in the Sailor Moon followership who have a held belief. Now, one of the held belief by some of them was that if you like the Deke or Cloverway offshoot of Sailor Moon, then you're not a true Sailor Moon follower. Now, I don't know where anyone got this fodder belief from, but I think who cares which offshoot of Sailor Moon you watch? And there are many offshoots of Sailor Moon because it was put into many speeches. So there were many offshoots. And everyone would say that their offshoot was the greatest one. And and that's what they would believe. Well, as of right now, I only have 2 watchers, 2 seers, or 2 onlookers watching right now. 1 thumb up. I wish I could thumb my own film up, but sadly on YouTube you cannot do that. UbeSci doesn't let you thumb up your own live streams. Oh, they'll let you thumb up your own shorts if you can make them, and your own uploads, but not your live streams. They'll probably let you thumb up your own podcasts. And let's be earnest, a podcast on YouTube is not what you think it is. It's a live stream, but live streaming all your films that you made in a playlist or some kind of whatever. And I don't playlist any of my films, so that's not going to work. And as of right now, no one has wrote anything in the shout out box. Well, I guess I should be thankful that someone's watching my YouTube live stream. So once Viz came along and they had their take on Sailor Moon, all of the hate, or at least all the shit that folks would bitch about Deacon Cloverway Sailor Moon stopped. I mean, there probably still are folks out there. Well, most of them would say, oh, we got Viz now. This is what we should have gotten back in the day. And yeah. But at the end of the day, Viz 1 is like a backup. So if you can't watch the Deke or Cloverway one, which some folks have and have not watched it. So let me just read what it says in the shout out box. Welcome to the shout out. Welcome to the live talk. Think it grants you giving your withdrawal by the followership oversight. Learn more. And then mostly what it's going to do is it's going to send you to the learn more sheet about that. So as of right now, I don't have anyone else. No one's wrote anything on my shout out box. And that's funny because I don't know if there's some kind of glitch or flaw or some bug on the website. I know there's one that makes it where you can't hush or lock or take anyone off your shout out box. But is there one that makes it where you can't write anything on it? I don't know. So let's go see. Let me go look at the settings. No, it just everything seems to be good. Oh, well, a stream. I can say, okay, yeah, well, that's good to know. You know why I thought that? Because I had two other watchers or seers or onlookers watching it, and they didn't write anything. So I just wanted to know. It said, I listening. Hi, Dwayne. All right. So, does anyone want to know how Sailor Moon for Life, or at least how Dwayne got into Sailor Moon? Now, I know a lot of folks on YouTube can say that they have been into Sailor Moon since between 95 YL. That they saw it when it was either on WB or UPN or Fox or USA or Cartoon in a 4-1 Reichs or YTV or Cartoon in a Settled Land. This might be a little unlike if you were from the Southern Land or New Zealand or any of the other English speaking or the 4-1 Kingdom, any other English speaking land. So a long time ago, when my show came to the English speaking world, when I came to the 4-1 Reichs and the settled land, I was given not so good time slots on WB and on UPN and WB and Fox. So very few folks ever watched my show. Later on, I would get the USA deal and the cartoon deal. And I had YTV in the settled land. So yeah. Now, so here's how it went. So Dwayne would get up some mornings, I guess, somewhere. I can't tell you when. He would either put on, I don't know, UPN, which at the time, or WB, and he would watch certain followings of Sailor Moon and not think anything of it. You know, he wouldn't say nothing. He'd go for the rest of his day. If he happened to watch it before, he'd be ready to, it would come on around either 5 or 6. So he might, so yeah. And this may be on the weekdays or something. So most likely, I don't know. And he would either go to learn or whatever, if he had a day, if it was a day off, whatever, he wouldn't say nothing to anyone. And then 2 years later, it was starting to get dark now. Better shift on the light. And then years later, go to August or the 8th month of 2008 YL, and the Nostalgia Critic, well, yeah, the old Scaver or the past Scaver was talking about Sailor Moon. Now, I don't need to talk about all the things that he has said or done in his business or in his fairway, but he was talking about Sailor Moon, and Dwayne's like, oh, I will call watching that. And then after that, Dwayne would start watching it back when it was first on YouTube. Then when it got offshooted to Vugon. Then when it got offshooted to Daily Motion. Then when it got offshooted to many other sundriest websites out there, like one called Anime Planet or Live Drawing World, which is no longer on the interweb anymore. Another one called What Sailor Moon Online or On the Interweb. That website's gone too. And then start watching it on many other websites like SailorMoonTV.com. Well, they're gone too. And then many other websites like Films 123 Films and many other these other websites that, folks upload things there. You don't know if they truly got a streaming or broadcast deal with this stuff or not. They're always shooting boosterings and showings at you. And now on websites like What's Cartoons Online or What's Live Drawings on the interweb. And that was it. That's all he would mostly watch the Deacon Cloverway one. Yes, he did, by the way, he did watch the Viz one many times. And the Viz one is more of a backup for if you can't get the Deke or Cloverway ones. Now, a lot of folks also ask me, what do I think about my Renaissance Atlantic Entertainment or New Birth? Would that be Great Sea? Or would that be East Sea Glee? Well, their Sailor Moon never saw the light of day until, well, sometime last year. And that is where those are mostly the free Sailor Moons. So when he thinks of Sailor Moon, that's what he thinks of. Now, so, anyway, sorry for clearing my throat, but sadly that cannot be helped. So, sorry about that again. And there's going to be someone like, oh, well, you should dust. And I do dust, and it doesn't really seem to stop that from happening. Now, a lot of folks might say, oh, well, and here's another thing that always seems to come up when it comes to, me. It's like, oh, what's the right name? Well, I guess it has to do with whatever offshoot of Sailor Moon that you're watching. In Deke and Cloverway's world, I'm Serena, all right? In the Viz and Toei world, then it would be Usagi, but that's just my middle name. And if you happen to be from the Renaissance Atlantic Entertainment, whatever that world, or the RAC world, then it would be Victoria. You'll have so many folks who will, they'll come and they'll say, oh, well, they'll say, oh, well, Usagi was her first name. Well, some of these folks should know that if they watched the Deke or Cloverway one, they would know what my name was. They know what my given name was, what my Latin borrowed name was on that offshoot of Sailor Moon. It said, no worries, man. Go on. Yeah. So, yeah. And back in the day, I used to, Dwayne once did, used to do this take. Now, a lot of folks would give me shit for this. Now, Well, not all right, all right, all right. What I mean to say is that you folks would be like, "Oh, you don't talk like Tracy Moore or Terry Hanks or Linda Bellatime." Yeah, 'cause I did way too many times. And then got speech box illness many times. But sadly, to go back to see all of those, you cannot. A lot of folks might wonder, you know, and they're like, all right, ugh. So what do I think about my show being 30 years old or 31 years old? Well, it's a big deal, you know. A show that started in between 92 YL that had a drawing film, drawing shows, drawing films, book, song plays, you know, dolls, a new offshoot of the drawing show. Oh, yeah, it is a big deal. Well, at least to me, it's a big deal. A lot of folks always want to ask this one little thing. They're like, "Oh well, Serena or Sailor Moon, what is your thought on the Power Rangers or the Mic Keepers?" Well, fellow followers of the 4-1 Bonds of Good, you know, yes, they went on to make 30. They've been around for 30 years. Yes, they may have gotten a more bigger. Yes, they've been around for 30 years. They might have the big followership than we do. And there are some folks out there who believe that that my show, Sailor Moon, and their show may have either borrowed from each other or fostered from each other. Now, keep in mind it would be hard to borrow from a show that didn't get started until between 93 YL. My show got started in between 92 YL. So, most likely both shows, my show and theirs, were borrowing from Super Sentai, but those are borrowed words. The English word would be overshift, which have been going on since between 75 YL. And that may have been why a lot of the things were kept. That may have been the grounds for the shape shifting, fighting fiends of the week. And that may have been the grounds to why a lot of things between both of our shows seem to be the same. Now, I I don't know if Nako Takenchi or Han Siobhan know of each other or have ever worked with each other. I don't know. But I would most likely think that since both shows were borrowed from each other in some way, Nako Takenchi, if I'm saying her kin name right, happened to watch Super Sentai or Overshift. I don't know if she still watches it, but at the time when she was writing Sailor Moon or other books she was, and that what gave her the thought of doing an all-female offshoot of it. And my keepers had got it said, "Hi everyone, sorry I late. Hi. Well, Sailor Moon, welcome to your YouTube live stream." And Over Team was my keepers were fostered and borrowed from that show. Now, here I'm going to ask something. Now, Sailor Moon came on. I know it's funny to say that I came on my own YouTube live stream, but there is a fellow Sailor Moon follower out there called Sailor Moon who shares the same birthday as me in true life. Now, he tends to spend most time playing film games and sometimes puts Sailor Moon films up. I wonder if you would ever You said you got Sailor Moon dolls one year. I don't know if you would you ever like to do some kind of round over where you make a film and then I make a film back and it makes it look like where, it's, some kind of back and forth thing. If you don't want to do it and you're too busy, then that's your own business. But I always thought it was cool to have that done, because it always seems to be if you're in a Sailor Moon followership, unless you're some kind of gaver of some kind, you don't seem to get a lot of on look, or at least a lot of backing. It's like you got the Costa players, or I guess you call them the clothing players, who go out and make the clothes and they show play as the cells they're clothed as. And then you have the folks like us who do what some call doll shows, as some haters or trolls out there might scave it as playing with dolls. And hold on, I gotta take something, and then gotta take my sleep help. Yeah, I've been taking sleep help since 2021 YL. Can't get to sleep without it. All right. So, all right. Hello, Sailor Moon. Hi, everyone. Sorry I late. Hi. So, anyway, I know some of you folks are going to always wonder, am I going to have other folks on my YouTube live stream? Well, you just look at those dolls right there. I know it's not a big gathering, and I know it's not every Bandai and Irwin doll ever made. I know that, it's not going to, and a lot of folks always wonder where they all came from. Well, half of them came from Amazon or Strong Woman. Some of them came from eBay, whatever English word for bay would be, or to be side. And one came from the Salvation Army, or the Helping Fighting Arm, thrift, thrift shop and giving middle. And that's where they all came from. And everyone always says, what's so cool about how you keep all of them good? Well, here's a little hidden. You see these things on my head right now? Those things once were on my head a long time ago. And they would come off. And I'd have to over sticky ooze them to keep those things on my head. Because the little whatever bands, whatever you want to call it, whatever straps, whatever I guess you would call it, that Irwin put on it, I guess around between 95 YL, came undone. And this may have been as early as somewhere around 2012 or 23rd between YL or something around that time. And I always had to over sticky ooze them back on. So, all right. I guess some folks wonder, am I going to talk about what I still do? Yeah, I guess some folks would still say I'm a meatball head. Some would still say that I'm a ditz and a klutz and a sob baby. Yes, I still happen to be all those things. Yes, I've grown up over the many years that my show has been around. My show's had about 5 followings if you look at the Toei and Viz work. 4 followings if you look at the Deke and Cloverway work. But I haven't You know that. And I used to, folks always would scape me and say, why do you behave like that? Why are you a ditz and a klutz and a sob baby? Well, keep in mind that that's the way I am. That's the way God made me. And I didn't know that I was Sailor Moon. I didn't know that I was the fighter of right. And in the behalf of the moon, I will right wrongs and win over evil, which means you. I didn't know I was Sailor Moon, or I didn't know that in my past life I was known as Elder Legion, Serenity or Serena, whatever you want to call me, and didn't know I was going to go on to become Young Queen Serenity. So I'm between years old and between 92 YL. And we can say that by the end of the show, at least about fifth between or sixth between. Now, keep in mind, but in the Tune Maker Sailor Moon, I was sixth between years old, so about 2 years old. So Victoria, which my name would it be about 2 more years older than me. So take someone who didn't know that God had entrusted them to be Sailor Moon, and you see how you would behave. All right. And I know that over the years I have been scathed for, for my ways that I am. Oh, Serena, you're lazy. You're always eating. You're always sleeping or napping. Oh, you never take anything earnest. You don't like work. You don't like learn. Blah, blah. Well, let's look at other over good doers out there who, and no one never ever said any shit about them. Let's look at Peter Parker from the Spider-Man films, the Spinner-Man films. I mean, the newer ones they made. They made him out to be a klutz sometimes and a ditz sometimes, but he went out there and he still fought for the greater good at the end of the day, and no one ever scathed him. I mean, yeah. So, yeah. And I know a lot of folks out there will say, it said, hey, how is it going? Everything's going well. Everything's going great. So, sorry for clearing my throat there again, folks. So, yeah. Now, a lot of folks might also wonder, and this is, I guess, some folks always ask, they'll be like, why did you choose to do this on YouTube or YouPside? Well, at the time, in 2008 YL, there wasn't anyone on YouTube doing this. Oh, yes, you had Mario, you had Sonic, you had SpongeBob, you had Mickey. So don't get me wrong, you had them. But you didn't have anyone doing it as Sailor Moon. So I thought that I would, find that I would make films on something, do something that at the time there didn't seem to be anyone else doing it. And mostly there isn't. As I say, there was Sailor Moon Jacob, but he is gone again. And there is some other fellow on YouTube. If I go on my YouTube FAIRWAY, and hopefully, go on her and bring her up. Oh, clear my throat again. It's bullshit, I know. All right, so we'll go into other FAIRWAYs. All right, so we have, all right, where are we? Here we go. And then we would have this fellow called Tina or whatever. I don't know her full name. I like to think it's Tina War, uh, you know, uh, Elijah. But I don't know. But as I say, what she would do is she would have squeeze dolls, but she would make films with squeeze dolls from all kinds of drawing shows, not only mine. And beyond her, there really isn't anyone else out there doing that. I mean, there was Sailor Moon Jacob, but he's gone again. So now it's only me doing it. And I know some folks out there might always wonder, oh, well, what do you think about folks that always get angry? Sorry about clearing my throat. You know, oh, what's my beloved drink? Well, I got a lot of beloved drinks. I say Pepsi, Coke, Mellow Yellow, Mountain Dew or Hill Dew. A new drink called Starry, you know. So that's about it. So I guess we'll have to get someone else to come on this YouTube live stream. So it's not just, me running my mouth for about a span. And it's like every time, sorry, clear my throat. It's like, hey, it goes, it said, my friend loves, he'll do. Well, I'm glad to hear that then. Glad to hear that. So, and I know I got many other friends, and it would be a long live stream, to have everyone on here. Now, before I have someone else come on here, the first thing is, it'd be like this. There'd be someone that might say something like, oh, well, you know why, sorry for clearing my throat. Here we go again. There would be someone that might say something like, oh, well, you got all these followers, but you don't have all this watch time. If you would skimmed out your films, if you would put a beginning and an end sheet to your films and cut out things and put in things and, make greater lighting and, and have a real long tagging every single thing it's in your film and make a long writing of everything you said and did in your film. Oh, you get watch time. Oh, and you talked about everything about your show. You would get all kinds of watch time. And sadly, it didn't come. Well, first off, Pittsburgh is a stead, not a borough. And two, it's Portview Borough. It's not Pittsburgh Stead. Oh. And at the end of the day, we're mostly talking about, it has stuff to do with Sailor Moon. So this isn't really anything to do with anything else. All right, guess I gotta get some water again. See, I didn't get someone else to come on next. Oh. Oh my god, my fingers. No. I guess I could have Sailor Mercury or Sailor Mars or Sailor Jupiter or Sailor Venus or Sailor Mini Moon or Sailor Earth be on. Oh, speaking of that, yeah, speaking of that. It said, do you have your own fairway? Well, the answer to that would be is no. The only the only fairways I have is the Sailor Moon one, the Mind Keepers one, the Jordan one, the Toy Wrestling Gathering one, and the Xena one, and that's it. So I don't have any other ones. Oh, shit. Well, there goes the hat. Yeah, fuck. Oh. See what I can do. All right. There we go. Let's do this now. Oh, the hat gonna come off again. Fuck. Oh. See, the only way you can keep this hat on his head is you do it this way, but then it makes the hide go down a bit over the eyes. But I guess that's the only way it can be done. Without making a hat fall off every single time you put them down. It says, hey, buddy, you got a good gathering. Well, thank you. All right. So, all right. So it looks like, yeah, why is my hat crooked? All right, Sailor Moon. Looks like we might have to do something with the Reckoner now. Like what? You know what to do. Then I down, I'll deal with it. All right. So let's go in here. We're going to go to interweb chooses and clean out stuff from that. And then after that, we're going to go into a layout or setup. We got to clean everything out from free room. Like what free room? What am I going to unput that free room to? I don't know. And then temporary files. I don't know. Whatever the English word for those two things are, I don't know. Okay, that's done. And I would go in here and so for anyone who doesn't know, for anyone out there who has Windows 10, and I guess a lot of folks do, should know that the updates are only going to go until October of 2025 YL. After the 10th month, no more updates will come. No more Stronghold updates, no more Bug Hill updates. I guess you'll still get updates for Edge, and I guess Defender or Fighter will still get its updates, but everything else will not. So hopefully by that time, I get a new Reckoner with small soft Windows 11 on it. And hopefully it'll be a laptop. Because at the end of the day, they're more cheaper. A little bit more cheaper than a board top. But I hope that it's a middle top, and I hope it's a HP. Because HP tends to make their gooder reckoners these days. Yeah, I know, gooder might not be the right word to say. Hi, Mimi. Hi, doggy. What do you want, Mimi? What do you want, Mimi? Want in? What do you want? Yep. Now you might say, "Oh, big deal. You could always go on and download it." No, because my reckoner's too old. My reckoner doesn't have enough of the right inner workings to handle Windows 11. So no, I couldn't take it when it came out in 2021 YL. If you want to ask that. So yeah, hopefully around that time I'll have a new reckoner with Windows 11, and I hope that the shooter setting or tool, which is on Windows 10, is also on Windows 11. If not, Jollycam is going to have to run for it. But no, if it's a middle top reckoner comes with its own built own web shooter, then yeah, so it's going to have some tool to run off of. So I hope it's an HP, and I hope it got Windows 11 when that comes. Because I know there's going to be someone out there thinking, oh, well, as long as you watch what website you're going on, as long as you put some other kind of strong evilware stronghold tool on there, you're good. And yes, there are folks that still have 95 and 98 and 20 and XP and Vesta and 7 and 8 and 8.1. And they have been on back for many years, some probably longer than others. You know, but what you got to watch out is about tools that work for a long time. And then one day they say, well, we're done running on here. So, yeah. So I don't know when that's going to be. But hopefully that will be soon. So one day that should happen. And if not, I don't know. you know. But I guess we don't have to worry about that until the year of, right? It says, it said, I don't know. Oh, reckoner is an English word. Since computer is a Hellenish borrowed word, the English word would be reckoner. I don't know. But what am I ever going to put my free room to? What tools am I going to unput to there? Nothing. It's not like I got any other tools to unput to there. It's not like I have other things I'm keeping. And Sailor Moon, they always keep talking about back up your reckoner, back up your reckoner. Like, what the fuck? Now, I can see if you had films and likenesses and songs and things on your reckoner, then yeah, you do that whole backup shit. But once I'm done making a film, I take the film on my reckoner, it's gone. Once I'm done with the likeness, I take out my reckoner. It's gone. There's no need for me to back up any of that shit. So no, I don't do that. Yeah, I know. I know what you mean. Sailor Moon says. I mean, that's a mistake. Everybody knows who's talking. All right, sorry about that. I know what you mean, Tuxedo Max or Evening Coat Hide. I know what you mean. Everybody thinks, oh, you should back up your reckoner. But what am I backing up? I don't have any films on it. I don't have any likenesses on it. So why would I need to be backing up any of this stuff? You know? Yeah, I know what you mean. So anyway, well, I don't know. Do I look crooked on here? Yeah, I guess you kind of do. Not really much I can do about that, you know? Really can't do that much. Well, anyway, I don't know if I don't know if I can get all of my friends on here. I don't think I can, you know? So I don't know how long I'm going to do this live stream for. But I don't think I can get every single doll on here, you know? Oh, yeah. Now, in the past, I probably could do that, but not now. This, I guess, takes a lot of time. And sorry for clearing my throat like I've been doing. Sadly, can't be helped. And yeah, well, I wouldn't worry about it, Sailor Moon. If there's someone out there that thinks that, oh, you should skim that, or you should clean that, or you should cut all that off, well, guess what? Not happening. And don't get us started about all those film skimming tools out there. They're not really that good. And I gotta be going now. All right, Tuxedo Mask. All right, Darian. Well, it said, oh, folk molt. I didn't say a folk molt. I don't even know what you meant about a folk molt. Well, oh, I know what you're talking about. Well, a lawmaking body, which, if it was a lawmaking body of a law moat, like the Gaver has the gathering coming, and has the House of the Winnemolt and the House of the Folkmolt, or the Reich might have a Gaver coming, which will probably call themselves the House of the Winnemolt, House of the Folkmolt. But an earldom might have one lawmaking gathering called the Folkmolt, or a near might have one lawmaking gathering called the Folkmolt. So, let's get talking about those skimming tools. So, there's going to be a lot of folks that like to skim their films. They like to make them lighter or darker. They like to cut out things and put in things. They like to put a beginning and an end sheet to their film. They might put some songs in or something. And they might cut stuff out. Well, I'm here to tell you, Sailor Mercury said, none of those work very well. At least not the ones we worked with never worked well. The first one we ever worked with was the Microsoft Windows Filmmaker, or the Smallsoft Windows Filmmaker, which was only good at making your films brighter, making them darker, put a beginning and end sheet to your film. Oh, you want to cut stuff out? That's when they've got to be a hit and miss. Only one time we got it to work well, and the other time it fucked up and it wouldn't let us work with anything we cut before and after. And it takes too long to fillet or make when you film once you made any shifts to it. And then don't get us started with the ArcSoft tools. the Canfor HP web shooter back in the day, ArcSoft web shooter friend, ArcSoft film for layer, which were mostly just a more smaller offshoot of the SmallSoft one, could do the same things. Make your film bright, make it darker, make it lighter, make it darker, put a beginning and end sheet to your film. Oh, well, couldn't cut nothing out of your film. You hit cut and nothing would happen. And the same thing for the same thing for the film for layer and the web shooter friend. But it could fillet your films faster. And then the last one we worked with was the Cyberlink Power Director, or Interweb Feed Strength Overseer. Now, this was so broken that all this one could do was film. You couldn't shift any settings. You couldn't do nothing. You couldn't do anything with it except film. So I don't want anyone telling anyone that, oh, Shifter is your friend or Skimmer is your friend or whatever what haters like to say. And there may be someone saying, oh, well, because there's all the shitty ones. They're all shitty. They're all too weak. I don't care how they're too hard to work. They're all shitty. And that goes for the Apple iFilm. That goes for Mackie Cam. That goes for the Sony Vegas Film Shifter. That even goes for Last Cut. And the YouTube one is shit too. Yeah, Sailor Mercury, you're right. All those film shifting tools, ones that are free, ones you got to yield for, none of them truly work very well. So I don't want to hear from any of the haters and trolls saying Shifter is your friend, Skimmer is your friend, because I dealt with them and they're not really that friendly. It says, it goes, you need to be, it said, there needs to be English. It said, and not, well, first off, you're talking about a word book. And what you mean is Anglish. English without no borrowed words for many other speeches. You need to talk about class setup and stuff, things, and kind of thing like. It said, and what is a, it said, what is a film? It said, well, anyway, you got the president, but that is a French borrowed word or a Latin borrowed word. The English word would be foresetter or first wicker. Then you have a governor, but that's a French borrowed word. The English word would be Reichhalter. You might have, I don't know, a chief executive. But that would be the French borrowed words again. It'd be head leadership fellow or whatever the rank of what the earldom elder would be, or board of earldom elders, more than one. And you might have a mayor, but we all know that is a Latin borrowed word. The English word would be near elder. Either Trump or borough or township, town or stead elder. So anyway, it says, for anyway, why Sailor Moon? Why only had 5 followings? I don't know. Because Nako Takeuchi only wrote 5 books. Toei only wanted to make 5 followings. Your guess is good as mine. I wish I had more than 5 followings. But sadly, I'm only going to have 5 followings through my Toei work and my Viz work, and only 4 followings through my Deep work and Cloverway work, and that's it. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it, Sailor Moon. I wouldn't worry about it, Serena. Well, Amy, or Sailor Mercury, or Sailor Quicksilver, I wouldn't worry. I'm not worried about that at all. You know? I think I probably made a lot more films on my YouTube Fairway to make up for only having 5 followings of my Totally or Viz work, only having 4 followings of my Deke or Cloverway work. It said, "Have you been to the Unimart?" And they say Sailor Moon Fleet. I still like fleets. I still like to eat fleets. And some folks seem to think that I would get fleet her sickness from any of that. But as we know, that never happened. No, yeah, you know. Yeah, but you really should eat well, right? Even if don't have an illness or not, you know. But yeah, I still like to eat fleets. So, anyway, I guess I gotta be going now. Alright, guess I'll see you around, Sailor Mercury. See ya, Amy. Bye, Sailor Moon. Goodbye, Serena. It said, "Do you play film games?" Yeah, I used to play film games all the time. I played the Sailor V film games until I met who Sailor Venus or Sailor Hellworld was, Mina. And once I met who Sailor Venus was or Hellworld was, then I started playing the Sailor E games until I met Ernest Sailor Earth, you know, and which gets started about how so many folks out there gave me a hard time with that one. Uh, there we go. But I still like to I play those. And I also play all the WWE games, like the 4K WWE games. But they're always hard. I always end up losing. Just like every time I play the Sailor Moon, the Sailor V games, I am up losing too. Oh, hi, Sailor Mars. Hi, Ray. Hi, Serena. Is my glove bending down or not? Let's go see. Oh, I don't think it is. All right. So you have me on your YouTube live stream. What's it all about? Well, now, come on. Well, someone wrote something. Someone wrote their thing off and said, "I do think that I cannot date Sailor Mars." Oh, well, I need to tell you this. I have Chad, who works at my worship house, which Deke would call Cherry Hill Temple, which the English word would be Red Hill Worship House. So I'm sorry, we can't date. Oh yeah, all that time, Sailor Moon, all that time, Sailor Mars, right, Ray? When I told you how many times, and you kept saying, "Oh well, me and Chad are only friends. We're not boyfriend and girlfriend." Stop it right now, Sailor Moon. Don't even start with me. Me and Chad are boyfriend and girlfriend now. It took me a long time, but it is. As you know, she still picks on me. She still bullies me. She still yells at me. Yeah, I still do. Because you still behave like a ditz and a klutz and a sob baby. And what's wrong with being a ditz and a klutz and a sob baby? And you're a meatball head. Don't call me that. I'm getting sick of you calling me that. Well, why don't you grow? Why don't you be more grown up? I am. I'm more grown up than you are. Yeah. You know what? Yeah. Like I'm going to have a fight with sticking out the tongues. I don't know why we do this for. You're irksome. Well, you are too. What else do we got here? It said always got Sailor Sherry, whoever that is. It said, oh, where's that at? Somewhere downtown Tokyo-ish. Tokyo or Tokyo-ish. You know? That's all I know. Well, anyway, that's all you know. Well, anyway, I'll tell you right now. Sailor Moon said, I'll tell you right now. Why did you want to come on here anyway? Well, because I wanted to hang out with you. And I wanted to be on this YouTube or FAIRWAY live stream. That's why I came with you. Who do you get in? Who, you know what? Between you, who do you get irked at the most? That's a dumb thing to ask. I get irked at you first, Sailor Moon. I get irked at you first, Serena. Then you could say that Sailor Venus Mina is Tudif. And then you could say that Sailor Earth Ernest is the third. Oh, there goes the burp again. It said, I don't think that I can. It said, do you think I can take Sailor Mars out on a date? Did we already ask this asking thing? I think I already answered it for you. I'm sorry. I got a boyfriend named Chad, so I don't think we could go out on a date. I am sorry. Oh, your hair is a sty. Your hair isn't anything good to look at. Oh, yeah, you're right. Your hair is a sty. Is sty an English word? I don't know. How about unkept? Unkept. That might be an English word for you. That's an English word, is it not? Yeah, I believe it is. Unkept. Yeah, shit. I always gotta have my hair going. Always going steads. It shouldn't be going in, but it does. Yeah, well, at least if you would have, bind your hair up like I do with mine, that wouldn't have happened. Yeah, stick two meatballs in my hair. Wow. I wonder who does that. Oh, I forgot. You do, Sailor Moon. You do, Serena. Or this Usagi fellow from some other world. Or this Victoria fellow from some other world does it. Well, Red Hills Worship House is a Sentu worship house. Means we do the worship of Sentunism or Sentunis, meaning way of the gods or way of God. Yeah, that's what Sailor Mars Ray is. But she did go to a worship. They went to a learn, which was ran by a Christendom worship house. Yeah. Well, yeah, Sailor Moon, you should talk. Are you even a Christendom fellow? Yeah, I am, Sailor Mars. I am, Ray. But you see, Deke and Cloverway had to shift out the cross or the round for the moon thing I wore from time to time. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, whatever. You know? Look, I gotta go now. All right? All right. I'll see you around, Ray. Sailor Mars. I'll see you around, too. I think she went to TJ's all girls school, I believe, was the learn she went to in in the Deke world. And Cloverway, I don't know what they made the name of it though. My learn I went to back in the day was Crossroads Junior High or Round Roads Younger High, and then Round Roads, high, you know, high learn. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it looks like it's starting to rain now. I don't know if any of you folks can hear it or not. Well, no, because what Dwayne went to when he went to learn was 1 year at St. Peter's or Holy Fellow Peter's learn, 1 year at Duquesne, 1 year at Duquesne's public school or Atlas learn, and spent many years at the day school at the children's stead. Those were all the learns he went to. If you're asking where all the learns he went to during his years between years of 5 to years 21 when he was a learner. Um, so that's where he went to. I don't know why you would be asking all the learns that he went to. And you see the, well, it looks like I'm going to have to end this YouTube live stream now. If you like this film, I want to say follow me over here at Sailor Moon for Life, which is the name of the Fairway, is also the handle too. What's the other film we made this morning over here? And I'll see you tomorrow. All right. I, Sailor Moon Serena, the fighter of right. And on behalf of the moon, I right wrongs and I win over evil, which means you. That was my deep saying. I believe in Cloverway was almost mostly the same way. All right, I got to see you all later. Bye. No, it was elementary. Other words, it was first year Duquesne learn. And it was only 1 year there. All right, that's it. I'll see everyone later. Bye.